We also have a great ROTC program, but I know that's a very kind of niche specific thing. So if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those on the side as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jordan. Megan, you're up.
Hi, I'm Megan Sellett. I'm the director of the Accessibility Resource Center here on campus, formerly Disability Support Services. I have to remember the new name of my office still because it is so new. I've been at the college for about 7 years, and so we have seen considerable growth in our office over my time here. Right now we have about 1,000 students connected to our office, as well as a number of faculty and staff. I think that's one of the things that folks often forget about when we talk about the scope of services within ARC, Accessibility Resource Center for short, is that we do provide supports for faculty and staff. So what do those supports look like? The Accessibility Resource Center supports students by way of academic and other accommodations that are going to level the playing field for them at TCNJ. So those things might be things like extended time for testing, note-taking, housing accommodations. When you are on campus, many students make housing accommodation requests that sort of give them spaces to be able to decompress while they're here on campus, or they may have a particular roommate request. And we always want to link any accommodation requests to a piece of disability. So students with disabilities, documented disabilities, make the connection to our office. About 85% of the students who are connected to our office have received some sort of support during their K through 12 experience. So lots of students are coming to us with documentation by way of IEPs, 504s, education plans that have been put together by their schools. And we will accept this as documentation through our office. I like to think too that we're pretty flexible. We don't want documentation to be the thing that holds a student up from getting the support that they need, especially as you're transitioning to this new environment that can be scary, that you're not sure how things are gonna go. We wanna make sure that the supports are there. So we do accept documentation on a rolling basis. The first step to getting connected to our office is actually to complete what's called the affiliation or registration form, and then also to submit that documentation. The affiliation form can actually be found directly on our website, and students can fill that out there. Sometimes parents fill that out too, but we really, really like to hear directly from students. I think that allows us to have the best picture and to be able to support you all moving forward in the best and most efficient way possible. We recognize that not all accommodations are going to look the same. So sometimes students come to us and they say, well, I really only accessed time and a half, extended time in high school. And I don't even know if I'm going to need that, but I want to have it as a safety net just in case. So we all, as a staff of 3, there's myself as the director, Kyla Tucker, who is a disability specialist and primarily works with first-year students, and Dixita Malatesta, who works with the Lion Plus program, which if any of you are familiar with that program, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, but it is a fee-based student support program here at the college. So the 3 of us, in conjunction with our program specialist, Ms. Lynn Cornell, work to make sure that students have accommodation plans in place by the time they start with us at TCNJ. And students get a formal document or memo to provide to their faculty to let them know that they are requesting certain accommodations. I would say that primarily one of the biggest differences between the K through 12 experience and your TCNJ experience is that you all as students are in the driver's seat with your accommodations. So whereas mom or dad or a family support system may have worked with the school child study team to navigate the accommodations process, and things were just sort of set up. You all as students are in the driver's seat with those accommodations. We are flexible to the extent that we recognize that sometimes students say, no, I want to fly under the radar. I want to try it on my own. By the time I get to TCNJ, I should know how to do this. And then midterms come and it's like, oh man, I could really use that support. So we really do review information and documentation and meet with students throughout the entire semester. So there's no deadline by which documentation or by which a student needs to connect. We have recognized over the course of time that not everything happens on our timelines, right? This is the perfect example with COVID-19. So we really want to be a support in the way that makes the most sense for you all as students. And similarly, you know, we have students who connect with us way before they're here at TCNJ the minute they get accepted. And we have students who are seniors and just need that support as they make it to the finish line. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us at any point if you feel like you could use support. While I mentioned that a significant amount of students connected to our office received support previously during their K through 12 experience, sometimes students get to TCNJ or any institution for that matter, and they're like, something's off, I just need some support. So that's when we have the good fortune as an office of collaborating with everybody else on this panel to make sure that that support is in place and that we are working as a team to support our students. But also, we just want to make sure that students feel comfortable reaching out for help whenever they might need that. And my office and my staff just can't wait for y'all to get here.
Thank you so much, Megan. All right, I think Janice, you're up next.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here tonight. I was just saying that this is the first Zoom meeting I've done when it's dark outside, so it's kind of an odd thing. But I'm here to tell you about the Office of Student Health Services and also TCNJ's pre-entrance health requirements. So Student Health Services is a little bit different than the nurse's office that you're accustomed to in K through 12. It is a medical office, and it's located on the first floor of ICOF Hall, which is very centrally located and easily accessible. It is staffed with board-certified physicians and nurse practitioners, and students actually schedule appointments, usually using a health portal, which they love because they can do late at night for the next morning. Our office is open Mondays through Fridays, 8:30 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. Our primary services that we provide are the evaluation, diagnosis, and treatment of a variety of common illnesses, conditions, and injuries, reproductive health services, travel medicine, and vaccinations. We're able to perform several on-site rapid laboratory tests for flu, strep throat, and others, and we can send out blood and other specimens for more complex laboratory testing to Quest and LabCorp. We use an electronic medical record system, which allows us to order prescription medicine to the pharmacy of your choice. And our office partners with the School of Nursing each fall to provide 2 campus flu vaccination clinics to help protect our community. And who knows, maybe even a COVID vaccination clinic as soon as that's available to us, hopefully in the spring. Our office is also responsible for ensuring student compliance with New Jersey and TCNJ pre-entrance health requirements. These requirements can be found on our website. The due date for completing health requirements is July 15th. And maybe some of you are saying, how can I do that? You know, I can't even get out of the house to go to the doctor's office. Well, the health requirements primarily consist of 3 forms, and 2 of the forms the student fills out themselves. And like Megan said, we want the student to be in the driver's seat with completing this information, with their parent kind of behind them, telling them, you know, this was your history. So often students come into our office and we say, we see you have an allergy to penicillin, and they say, I do, you know. So it's kind of a hint to us that they really didn't know anything about, you know, they had never been on the portal before to fill out this information and hadn't really seen any of the health forms. So just to let you know, another thing is that there are new meningitis vaccination requirements that were signed into law by Governor Murphy in January, and this will affect all new students attending New Jersey colleges and universities. They're quite extensive because what the law is saying now is that they want meningitis requirements, and that's, there's two different kinds of meningitis vaccines, to be consistent with Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommendations. And so that information is going to be posted on our website on Monday, and will affect most of you in having, whether you live on campus or not, you may need to get a meningitis vaccination at or after age 16. We work with so many offices on campus and health services. I mean, we work with Megan's office and the athletic training office and student affairs and athletic academic affairs, and the list goes on and on. So we certainly don't work in a silo. We really are a team, and we really form a network of resources. We care about you. We want to make sure that you succeed, and that's why we're there. I want to ensure you too that minimizing disease transmission to students, health, or us, as healthcare providers, faculty and staff, and others is #1 priority for our office. Currently, we have shifted services to a telemedicine format, and we're really busy with that, with providing healthcare to students that are taking classes, but we're here and they're there, they're at home. And we plan to offer a hybrid of telemedicine and in-office visits when we return to the office. And my staff and I have been working through the complexities of a plan that will support physical distancing and safety that is compliant with CDC and New Jersey Department of Health guidelines for ambulatory healthcare settings come the fall. And I also am on the campus emergency response team. And I think I saw somewhere where I'm supposed to be the pandemic coordinator. But we've been meeting constantly to make sure that, everything is in place, and we anticipate many different scenarios for the fall. We just don't know what's going to happen. Like Lindsay said, we wish we had a crystal ball to find out what's in store with us. But I think we pretty much just have to plan for everything. Thank you.
Thanks, Janice. And I will say, we get a handful of questions. Right now you can't submit your health forms just yet. So the new guidelines are going to come out next week, but you need to have a TCNJ email address in order to access our online wellness link, which is the health portal that we have on campus for our students. And our new students won't get their TCNJ email until the first week in May, usually, because we still have a couple weeks left to go for people to make a decision. So while we do have, I'm sure, a handful of students on the call tonight who've already committed and enrolled at TCNJ, we certainly know that there's some on here tonight who are still kind of making that final decision. So you can't get to it just yet, but I would encourage you to, this is the one thing I always say, if you want to get a real jump start on your transition to TCNJ, you could download the health forms and set up that appointment and get started with all your vaccines and stuff like that. So just want to nip that in the bud, because I feel like we always get a couple questions after that. Thank you so much, Janice.
I want to add something just really quickly. Most students, when they submit health requirements, they think that they're done, and they don't look at their email again for TCNJ or anything else. We do let you know that we've reviewed it within just a couple of days, and we will let you know if you're missing anything. And just to give you an idea, there's only about 40% of students that get it right the first time. Usually they forget something and then they think they're done, and they don't really look at their email and notice that they're not done. They might be missing something. So I do want to make sure that you don't go to the portal first, that you start on the website, because there's a packet there that will give you a step-by-step instruction, and let that be your guide rather than the portal.
I can vouch for this because I am a grad student here, and last August I had to do my forms together, and I fell in the 60% who did not get them right the first time. So wise advice. Appreciate that for sure. All right, thanks, Janice. Okay, I'm tossing the proverbial TCNJ Roscoe head football or whatnot to Mark now to chat for a couple minutes about mental health services. Mark?
Hi, everybody. So Mark Forrest here. I am the AVP for Health and Wellness and the Director of Mental Health Services. So the college believes that the health and wellness of all our students is critical to the educational mission of the institution. And as such, our mission is to promote and nurture a community of care supportive of healthy, lifelong, personal, and relational behaviors. We provide TCNJ students with a variety of opportunities for development in all 7 dimensions of wellness. And those dimensions include emotional, intellectual, physical, social, environmental, financial, and spiritual wellness. So there's a whole variety of different programs that we offer in all those different areas, and we really try to take a holistic approach. We don't want to wait until people are in crisis or experiencing difficulty. We want them to learn the tools and skills that they can stay healthy and well to prevent some of the more crisis-oriented issues. There's multiple health and wellness offices at TCNJ that work together to provide these direct clinical services to students, educational programming, and outreach to the campus community. The offices that fall within the health and wellness umbrella include mental health service, the alcohol and drug education program, the collegiate recovery program, anti-violence initiatives, recreation and wellness, religious and spiritual life, and student health services, which you just heard a little bit about from Janice. I'd like to, and as Janice did mention, I think, and it's going to be a common theme that you're hearing tonight, is that we do work together as a team. No individual office can do this work alone. We refer back and forth to one another so we can really offer the best comprehensive services to students that we can. So I'd like to highlight a couple of the offices for you, and I would encourage you to go on to the various websites, and you can get a lot more information about different programs and services and so forth. But first, mental health. You know, if you've been watching television, reading newspaper articles, you know that mental health has been under the microscope, and college student mental health is a concern for everyone. Anxiety is on the rise, and in fact, anxiety is the #1 presenting problem that we find in our students. There's a lot of stressors going on in the world right now, not just the dealing with this pandemic, which added a whole nother layer of anxiety and concern, but we see a lot of students with a variety of anxiety type issues, and therefore we have multiple programs that try to address anxiety. Our services include short-term individual counseling. A lot of people wonder, how many sessions do I get? It's not a cookie cutter model at Mental Health Services. We do an individualized assessment of every student that comes in, but we do offer short-term care. And what that means for the majority of people is about a semester or less, give or take. But we do have some opportunities both on campus and off for longer term care if that's needed. We also have a very robust group program at Mental Health Services, probably offering upwards of 18, 19 groups every semester. And these are on a wide variety of topics. You'd be hard pressed to think of a concern or an issue that we don't offer some form of group in. And there are no time limits on group participation. We have some people who start in a group and stay with that group throughout their whole college career, or they may go and try out multiple groups over time. We have a pretty strong crisis service for students who are in any kind of urgent need of mental health care. People can just walk into the center and know that they can see someone within a few minutes. We also have psychiatric services at mental health services. We also offer educational workshops and outreach programs on a variety of topics like anxiety and depression management, relationship enhancement, conflict resolution, mindfulness strategies, building resilience in students. We know how important that is, just to name a few of the programs. As I mentioned, there are a couple of longer-term counseling options on campus. There is a training clinic called the Center for Integrative Wellness, and we have a new initiative called the Community Counseling Collaborative, where we bring community providers, licensed community providers, to campus, give them low-cost rent on their office space, and in exchange they work with some of our students in a reduced fee way and in an open-ended longer term kind of way. We have 8 full-time licensed mental health providers at mental health services and a half-time psychiatrist. In addition, every year we have maybe 4 to 5 trainees from various graduate programs regionally that come and offer limited services under direct supervision by a licensed counselor. Accessing these services is quite simple. There's a very brief request for service form online for both individual and group that students can fill out, and then they will hear from us, usually within the same day. A couple of other programs real quick I wanted to highlight. One is our recreation and wellness area that offers a variety of wellness programs. We have a fitness center with some state-of-the-art equipment there that's available to all students. We have classes that are available. We have club and intramural sports, and we have a wonderful new program that was grant funded called Recreate Your Night. And these are activities and events for students 4 evenings a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, late into the evening, like until about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And this is a wonderful program that we've been offering now for about 4 years, and more students are taking advantage of that. And the other program I wanted to highlight is the combination of our alcohol and drug education program and our collegiate recovery program, who work together for prevention and recovery of students who struggle with drug and alcohol problems. We want you to know that we actually have substance-free living opportunities on campus and recovery housing. So for students who want a substance-free environment, we can provide that for them, and we offer additional kind of programming and support throughout their stay here at TCNJ. Those are just a couple of the programs that we offer. So again, I encourage you to look at some of the different websites, and you'll get a much better picture of the wealth of opportunities that are involved. I look forward to working and seeing some of you in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And I will add, so the Recreate Your Night events are some of my favorite on campus every semester. And for the students, just to kind of give you an idea, and again, this isn't every night of the week. They do a lot of, the arts and crafts and some smaller things, but you can bank on at least once a semester some version of a human hungry hippos, which sounds exactly like it is exactly how it sounds. You're almost on like rollers, and then you're running around trying to grab balls in the middle of it, like that great game that we played when we were younger, which was amazing to see in person. And occasionally you get a little bubble soccer in there.
Yep.
And my personal favorite, and I think they do this maybe once a year because there's a bit of a cost associated with it, a little bit more than some of the other activities, but they'll do a canoe, they do Battleship in the Packer Hall swimming pool. And again, you're in a canoe and you're have these buckets and you're just trying to sink the battleship or the ships around you with other students in it. So just to kind of give you a taste of some of those Recreate Your Night activities, because I feel like that's something that gets overlooked a bit, but just to kind of give a snapshot of the types of activities that are involved in the recreation piece, which is really cool. So just add those. Thank you so much, Mark.
Sure.
Okay, I believe I'm tossing up 2 more to go. And again, keep submitting your questions. Thank you so much for everybody who's been continuing them, but or who's been submitting them. But don't be shy if you have some more to come up. But I will toss it over to Tim, who's going to talk for a few minutes about campus police and safety.
Hi, thank you, Lindsay. Again, my name's Tim Grant. I'm the Chief of Police at the College of New Jersey. Welcome to my office. So we have a full-time police department here, and we also have security. But our police officers are fully sworn. They've gone to the police academy, and we work 24 hours year-round. And we're really here to be a resource for all the students. We're the only department that's here 24 hours. So most departments, if you call and it's after hours, the last message will be, if you still need assistance, call campus police. And we're sort of the eyes, ears, and voice of the campus, especially after hours. We want to be looked at as a resource, and so a department that's there to come out and help you. We also, along with I think everybody else that's on the panel tonight, are part of the emergency response team of the college. So we've been very busy during this time planning. We're certainly in a liminal space where we're not sure where we're going to end up next year. So I can talk about a little bit what we normally do and the expectations. The expectations this year might be a little different. And my advice to that would be to follow the state guidelines, follow the governor, and follow what the president says, because we're right in line with that. I watch the governor's talks every day because I know whatever comes out from there that we're going to be following. So if you're up to date with that, you're going to know as much as we do and when we know it. That's where we're getting our information from. It seems lately we're at Zoom University here, but we really have a college that you can come to, and you can see from the panel, it's a very caring college. We all work together, and no matter what the issue is, there aren't any silos here. We know that we can call each other, and we're going to get your student help if they need it. One piece of advice I would get, I'm not sure if anybody mentioned tuition insurance, but maybe especially during these times where you can take out insurance for a fee, and if for some reason your student has to pull out, the tuition will be covered. If your student has, if you've been in contact with them or having trouble getting in contact with them and you want us to do a welfare check, don't hesitate to call us at Campus Police. That's something we do pretty routinely, and we'll just go over and check on your student, call home, and almost every time that's what it is. But rather than worry about it at home, just call. We can make that check for you. As Mark said, across the country, there are a lot of mental health issues on college campuses. We're no exception. Our officers have been trained to deal with students with issues and concerns. Mark's done a lot of that training for our officers himself. So don't think of it as a police response, but really a college response, and we're going to get your student help. I want to make sure you have my email. It's tgrant, my name, tgrant @tcnj.edu. And you're welcome to email me at any time if you have questions, and I'll get back to you quickly. Jordan mentioned the shop, which is a food pantry we have on campus. Student Affairs started that, but we service it in that it's in a substation that campus police has. So it works out well that students have access to it 24 hours. It's not staffed all that time, but by calling us at campus police, we can respond. And it's a good way for our officers to meet students sort of organically and just help them out whenever they need it. We do different events with students throughout the year. Things like Cram a Cruiser, which is also a food drive at the end of the year where students bring their dry goods and fill up a police cruiser with it. And we bring that to the shop or to the food pantry for the county. If your student has come into contact with campus police in another way, if they had a motor vehicle accident and they need the report, most students who attend are adults, and while I'm always happy to talk with the parent, it's really up to the student to get their report and to really kind of deal with police from there. Anybody can get a report that they're involved with. They just have to request it, but it has to come to the person involved. Again, I'm always happy to talk to a parent, but there's only so much we can talk about there. I know just by the sheer number of families that are on here tonight that there's been everybody's in some way affected by COVID. We all are, and some more so than others. And my heart goes out to anybody who's lost a family member. It's difficult times, but this team always pulls together, and we're looking forward to having another good year and come the fall. So that's all I have, Lindsay.
Great, thank you. All righty, last, and I said this already, but certainly not least, Yvonne, you are up.
Bringing up the rear, okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yvonne Cruz, and I'm the Executive Director for Student Success and Retention, and that encompasses three main areas: the Center for Student Success, the EOF program, the Education Opportunity Fund program, and our tutoring center. So I'm going to briefly just chat with you about each of those areas and tell you a little bit about the services they offer, how you access it, and how awesome they all are. See, the tutoring center is the top on the list, and that is something that I'm sure every student, and especially the parents, are very interested in when it comes to their students and helping them transition to college and get the kind of support that they need. Our tutoring center is a very active, very, very active center, and it is, although we have 3 professional staff members and multiple grad assistants in it, the actual tutors are student tutors, they're peer tutors, so it's a great job opportunity for students who end up doing well in classes and want to become a peer tutor. We offer tutoring, and all of our peer tutors have to go through a course. They have to be certified by the College Reading and Learning Association. And we offer weekly tutoring sessions, individual sessions. We have group tutoring sessions, writing consultations, one-on-one. So sometimes it's like you just need help with a paper one time. You don't necessarily need a tutor every week. We have drop-in tutoring at different times of the day in different locations across campus, as well as e-tutoring. And e-tutoring is just what it sounds like, an electronic tutoring service that goes from, I think it's 8 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week, on obviously writing, but lots of other content areas. And obviously we've ramped that up now that we've gone to a completely virtual way. Our students have done an amazing job in making this transition, since the second half of this semester had to be online and in a completely virtual environment, we've continued our tutoring sessions, and they are interactive tutoring sessions and group sessions done through Google Hangouts. And if by any chance we are in this continued online fashion in the fall, our students are perfecting this process. So our students are getting that kind of support, the tutoring one-on-one as well as group support in content areas. So whether you need help in history or writing just a general paper or calculus or chemistry or whatever it is, there is usually a tutor available for most entry-level courses and mid-level courses. And obviously the upper-level courses, it can vary depending on the need and demand. So that is our tutoring center, and you can go to the website and get a lot more specific information about how we run that process and how students can sign up for tutoring. And to give you an idea, our students, congratulations on all of you for being accepted. We take some really great students at this institution, and it shows, because even our tutoring center, the average GPA for the students who use our tutoring center is over a 3.0. We've got students who are struggling with content and they need a tutor, they come to us. Some students who definitely want to bump that B to a B+ or an A are coming to our tutoring center. So please don't view that as the place to go to when you are struggling and hanging on by your fingernails. Absolutely not. The line to sign up for tutoring at the beginning of the semester, the first day, is out the door, because students just want to be on top of their stuff and be ready to face the semester. So that, in a big nutshell, is our tutoring center. Next, I want to chat about our Center for Student Success. And CSS is an office that has multiple professional staff members. So tutoring, you're going to get peer tutors in content areas. The Center for Student Success is where you get a professional staff member to work one-on-one with the student on whatever their challenges may be. Oftentimes it's academic coaching for the study skills, because transitioning your study skills from high school to college is often the biggest challenge. If any of you saw my ASD presentation, I always like to use this great analogy of checkers to chess. The same board, completely different set of rules. Very, very much more challenging, much more complex, need to think 2, 3, 4, 10 moves ahead. And it can fool you into thinking that you could study the same way you did before. Worked great for you up to this point, so hey, why give it up, right? But you need to switch up how you study because there's going to be a lot more expected of you. So transitioning those study skills to a college level expectation is a key thing that our staff does. Again, they're not going to help you with the calculus. They'll send you right down the hall to the tutoring center, but they'll help you in exercising muscles maybe that you've never had to use before when it comes to learning how to study. Another key piece is learning how to manage your time. Number one, biggest challenge students face, because at our institution, a full load is only 4 classes. 4 classes. Most of the students who are accepted are students who were involved in everything under the sun, in sports and in clubs and in arts programs, and had jobs and all these other things. So from crack of dawn till at night, students are busy, busy, busy all day long. You come to college, all of a sudden, you may have a day where you only have 1 class, or you might have a day where you have no classes. And how do you, it sounds wonderful now until it all starts to pile up, and figuring out how to balance your time and do your work well. So sometimes it's not an issue of aptitude, that you're struggling and you can't handle the coursework. It's finding your right balance. Because hey, maybe my sophomore year I'm taking an internship. Maybe my junior year I'm participating in some kind of research, or I'm taking on a leadership position. How do I balance all of that? Because all those other pieces are key to being a successful student. Excuse me, but the key is, how do you prepare yourself? Because that's what the real world is, learning how to balance all those things. So we over in the Center for Student Success can help that with the study skills as well as for the time management. Another key thing that CSS does is supplemental advising. Every student who is accepted into a major will have a faculty advisor. And if you're accepted into one of the undeclared majors within a school, say undeclared business or undeclared arts and communications, then there is either a faculty or a staff member, oftentimes the assistant dean, who will serve as your advisor. And then for students who are coming in as undeclared general, not affiliated with the school, our office, Center for Student Success, will serve as your faculty advisor. But CSS also offers just a kind of safety net of general information on academic advising. So we're there to kind of fill in any gaps a student may have when, you know, the faculty advisors are great, but if say you want to switch a major, add a minor, you know, become a dual major, a double major, we can help a student with those policies, procedures, and just generalized advising. We have mentoring program. Our PRIDE stands for Preparing Remarkable Individuals Determined to Excel. That's what PRIDE stands for. And that is a targeted mentoring program for our students of color and first generation students, but it's open to any student who wants to participate. And there's a really great, on our Center for Student Success website, if you go to the section with Pride, PMP is what we call it, the Pride Mentoring Program, they got a really great quick video, like 6-minute video, made up predominantly of just the students in it, talking about how PMP helps. So that's what PMP is all about. And bringing up the rear is our EOF program, our Education Opportunity Fund program, but that's a special admission program for students from economically and educationally disadvantaged backgrounds that you needed to be accepted into at the point of admission. So there's information on the EOF's website related to that. And if you were accepted within the EOF program, there have been webinars to talk about that. But overall, student success and retention, the area that now I oversee, between tutoring, Center for Student Success, PMP, EOF, all those programs are meant to help students be the best students they can be, to help students utilize all our motto used to be the keys to success. You all got the keys. You just got to figure out how to use them, what locks they go into, and we can help with that. We're located in a really great spot on campus. It's called Roscoe West Hall, that houses the Center for Student Success, EOF, Tutoring Center, the Career Center, the Leadership Program. And it's just a great resource hub where we're all there. And just like the others have said on this panel, we have these great reciprocal referral relationships where we work with each other. ARC, the Accessibility Resource Center, is also right down the hall from us. So we're all there as a central hub to support our students. So hopefully that gave you a little taste, maybe too much of a big taste, sorry, Lindsay, of what the area is all about.
No way. It was awesome. Thank you so much. And it was perfect timing because I feel like we have just a minute or two to wrap up here. I have been taking, we've been answering most of the questions as they've been coming in. So we're pretty caught up with all of that. I think that there were 1 or 2 questions. Oh, okay. So we did address the question about parking permits. More information about parking is going to be coming over the summer months. Unfortunately, first-year students not allowed to have their cars on campus for the first year. If you're commuting, that's a different story, and you can go through that process. If I do have any transfer students on the call tonight, or upper class students that are coming in sophomore level or above, you'll have an opportunity to get that information at that point. I did have another question. Oh, summer assignment for admitted students. Yes. So I will really quickly plug that if you have not gotten a chance to check out the Virtual Accepted Students Day website, that is just an enormous amount of information, infographics, presentations, webinars, videos, whatever you can kind of do virtually in one spot. It's really convenient. Again, it wasn't ideal, not ideal that we couldn't have you on campus in April to answer these questions in person. We're the type of school that likes to chat in person with people, as you probably could tell tonight on the call. But that website has so much information. It's just virtualasd.tcnj.edu. What I encourage you to look for is my presentation. I'm not that self-centered, but it's just very helpful. So it's the student transitions ASD presentation, and it's about 33 minutes long. So I've done some calculations with Generation Z. You have a 8-second attention span. So it's gonna take you over 250 times to come back if you need some breaks from my presentation, but it's 33 minutes. And it's super helpful because it just covers a lot of the nuts and bolts things that we're starting to get questions about now, things like parking. There's gonna be information coming down the pike, not in this presentation, but in the ROAR booklet, which I reference, about things like the tuition insurance and health insurance and those types of pieces. A lot of the information my colleagues that were joining me on the call tonight have put content into a booklet that you're going to get mailed home to you in May that kind of starts your transition. But if you have definitely 100% committed and are enrolling at TCNJ, whether you have your deposit in or it's coming in shortly, just that presentation is going to be a really helpful start just to kind of get you thinking about the types of things that are coming down the line there, and it'll answer a lot of those questions at that time. And then let me just see if there were anything else. Oh, and then the summer, the reading assignment. So yes, so if you're a first year student on the call, there is a summer reading assignment. The book has already been chosen. It's a book called, I believe it's actually a play, called Sweat by Lynn Nottage. So more information about that is coming. It's not due until middle of August. So you've got a couple months for that. And hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, we'll be able to see a beach here at some point in the summer for vacation, but not sure how that's all going to play out. So if there were any other questions that we had, oh, I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do in advance my slide. All right. So this presentation will be on my website within the next day or two. My website is just studenttransitions.tcnj.edu, but here is a list of all of the contact info. So if you have specific questions that really kind of apply to your situation, or we didn't get a chance to answer them tonight, you can feel free to reach out to all of these offices directly. And then again, I'm just studenttransitions at tcnj.edu. I tend to be kind of the gatekeeper. If somebody doesn't really know where to go, they'll start with me and we'll connect you to the right office. But I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, just to be mindful of time. And thank you so much to the colleagues who joined me and who took an hour. That sense of camaraderie is so great, but I didn't have to, I didn't have to really strong arm anybody to do this. I sent the email out a week or two ago. I said, hey, I think it would be really nice to kind of address health and wellness in a broad way, inside the classroom, outside the classroom, with our admitted students and some of our enrolled students. And would you be willing to give me an hour here? And all of them said yes, no questions asked. So thank you so much. And thank you for, audience for joining us, for considering TCNJ. For those of you who've already committed, we're so excited to have you be joining the TCNJ family. And otherwise, just have a really great night. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully sometime very soon. All right. Take care, everybody.